Hey, what's up, guys? It's me, John the House Guy, here with my lovely co-host,
Kim the Homegirl.
and this is the House Guy and Homegirl podcast, where we try each week to bring you some relevant information about real estate and the home building process. And this week, we're going to talk about countertops. Hey, do you enjoy this kind of content? If you do, please don't forget to subscribe down below. Give us a share, give us a like, hit that notification bell, whatever it is that you can do to help us grow our channel and help us bring you the most relevant and up-to-date information about home building and real estate each week.
You're listening to the House Guy and Homegirl podcast, a podcast about real estate and real life. As realtors, home builders, and real estate investors, John and Kim keep it real. Former teachers turned real estate professionals, they have a heart for helping others. Join them each week as they discuss all things home. And now, here's your hosts, John and Kim.
So, John, what's been going on with you this week?
It's been a busy week. Been trying to get everything cobbled together on all these real estate deals.
You have been working.
Yeah.
I mean, was it? Oh no, I guess we're into another week.
Yeah, another week has slipped by. Yeah, the week before I had
word.
3 closings in 1 week, which was wild. And then of course we got everybody and their cousin working back here on the house. So we got the brick going, we got the paint going, we got the vinyl
one day
going.
we had like
We got the septic tank
people,
going in. We got a lot of things
lots
happening,
of
right?
things,
And so that being said, today we went and met with our countertop guy.
Yes.
And we are going to discuss countertops.
And I don't recommend that. You should actually, when you're thinking about countertops, that needs to be. And I did actually. Like I went and met with him while I was thinking about paint colors and flooring and all that, because y'all, that's the thing. All that has to be well thought out together. You can't pick countertops separately from your floors or your paint colors.
We see people do that all the time, right?
Yes.
And it's a mistake, and it always looks unrehearsed or developed or whatever.
It's
like
just not
like,
cohesive.
Oh, I like that color of paint, and then they go to the cabinet store and they're like, I like that style of cabinets. Then they go to the countertop and say, I like that. And instead of putting it all together and saying,
right,
this is what's going to look like together.
Right. So I would recommend doing all that kind of, and you usually can get samples and things like that. If we build your house, we're going to walk you through that process and make sure you have the things that you need, paint chips and flooring samples. But sometimes you forget to bring those things. Don't do that. So make sure that all of that is well thought out and planned at the same time. So we did that a couple weeks ago, and I kind of had an idea in mind. And then today we revisited our cabinet guy and gave him a deposit and ordered everything. Countertop guy, yes. And gave him a deposit and ordered everything that we needed to do. And that's kind of how that works. So throughout the building process, usually anything that's going to be big like that, countertops, plumbing fixtures, paint, what else goes along with that? Cabinets, anything like that where they have to order materials on the front end, they usually require a deposit, and it's usually half of your total cost and all that. So picked out countertops today. What kind of countertops do we pick out today?
Yeah, that's what I was going to get to. Let's talk about the 5 basic options that we have
Yes,
for countertops.
now,
he doesn't supply all of those.
Right.
But what we usually do is granite or quartz.
Right. And those are kind of higher end. Those are really usually for new builds and higher end flips.
Or a remodel. You may be doing a remodel.
Yeah, that's what I'm
like
saying.
Yeah.
But it's usually those are going to be your more costly countertops. And on the lower end of that spectrum is your Formica, laminate type countertops.
Concrete or wood.
Right,
yeah.
Concrete or wood.
So the 5 that we're going to discuss: granite, quartz, Formica, concrete, wood.
Right.
And so starting off with granite and the pros and cons of granite. So I talked to our countertop provider today about some of that. Invited him to be on the show. Hopefully he will at some point.
Yes, he's very knowledgeable about countertops.
Yeah, I was like, dude, this would be a great, this would be great for you to be on. But granite. So we talk about granite. The reason that people use granite, the pros of granite is, of course, it's a big rock, right? It's going to last.
We have granite in our house currently.
Forever, right? The difference between granite and quartz. But
it's going to last forever. We're not going to have granite forever.
Yeah, right. But I'm saying the granite is a rock. It came out of the ground.
A naturally occurring substance per nature.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you cut it, you make it, what do you call it? fabricate it to a
right.
certain size for that it fits. You polish it, you put it in, right?
Yeah, think about it like, this occurs naturally in nature. And so, it's just like anything else that occurs naturally in nature. Like
You can't control what it looks like.
Right, you can't control. There's environmental factors that go in. Think about it like growing a tomato. You've got a better boy that you're growing and you have a better boy seed. Well, that particular tomato it may come in like a slightly different hue than what you remembered your better boy being, or so there's so many different things. It like, as far as granite and it being naturally occurring, it's going to be a different color.
Yeah, you think about the wood grain here on this, right? And we talk about wood later. A tree is going to grow its grain. Sediment is going to settle a certain way, and it's
Right.
going to become granite.
So the veins in it and the coloration, and you may get, there's so many different, granite's really cool because it's got ruby and garnet and
but you choose it by the slab, and
Right.
you really need to specify what part of the slab you want to be used.
And a lot of times when we have people that want granite in their homes, we have them go and pick out that particular piece of granite.
Put your name on that slab.
Right, so they have control of that, somewhat control over what is actually going into their house, as opposed to saying, I want, this kind of granite, or because they do have different names, they can control like somewhat of what
Well, they just cut them from different places. They
right
come
of
from
what the
different-
color scheme is going to be. But for us, if you ever want granite in your house, we want you to put your name on.
Yeah,
it,
go put your
because
name on that particular slab. If there's a certain part of that slab that you say, oh, this is beautiful, this is the part I want, well, let's not get that cut off and make that waste
Right.
to make sure we specify this is the part I want shown. Here's where I want my sink to
Right.
go. And as they draw it out, be there for the fabrication process.
Yep.
Whereas quartz, the next one we're going to talk about, quartz is a man-made product. It basically is going to have extreme consistency. You can control it because it's like 85% man-made materials. It's something that's they take the quartz from the ground or wherever they take it from, but they mix that in and resin that in a way that makes it the same indestructible material.
And you can get more of a consistent pattern. So if you pick out,
you can get solid white. You can
Right.
get solid colors.
now some of the quartz too that are coming from a company, they may vary vein wise, if it's got some veining, Calcutta, Carrera, and
But
all
that's
those.
stuff that they're putting
Yes.
in it.
So
right?
it may vary like when they produced it, like
Mm-hmm.
this line or that line. But as far as consistency, it's going to be more consistent. And that's kind of where everybody's moving towards, is that consistent color on countertops. I've had several clients that they want that more white look, that and they want a look that they can control. Where granite is going to be, it's granite can be busy, and you just got to think, like, if you cut a rock and you cut it in the middle and you opened it up and then you put resin and sanded that down, well, it's going to be pretty busy with the designs, and it's going to have color and garnet and all that, where this quartz is going to be a more cohesive look, and that's where people are going. But here's the thing though, quartz used to be more expensive when we first started remodeling and building and all that. Quartz used to, and it's a higher end countertop, but it used to be the more expensive selection, and it still can be if you go with certain companies.
Sure.
I think there's like Cambria and places like that that really carry that real high-end quartz, and there's some really nice pieces of quartz out there. But you can get a pretty nice piece of quartz for cheaper than you can buy granite.
Yeah, now, right.
Because of, like, I think COVID changed that, and, a lot of this granite is coming from overseas.
Well, as quartz began to grow in popularity, then the demand went up for it, right?
Right.
And then they just upped the production on
Right.
that, and then the granite kind of slowed
So that's
down.
what's playing out now is
Yeah.
like demand, but in the beginning of the price decline on quartz, I think it was a shipping issue out of another country. So anyways, so you've got granite, quartz, and those are pretty much the two higher end.
Couple things people ask all the time about granite and quartz. What about putting hot items down? I asked Artie about that this morning. He said both of them are going to be pretty temperature resistant. What about spilling something on it? Granite is a rock and it's porous, right? So it has to be sealed. And if you think your seal has failed, you have to make sure you keep up on that. But it's supposed to be able to be sealed for at least 30 years, according to the manufacturer. But If you use some kind of acidic cleaner or something on it, it may take that off. So you have to be careful there. Quartz is sealed up. It's man-made product. It's not porous at all, so it has more durability as far as that goes. You don't have to baby it as much as maybe granite. But both of them are pretty durable.
Right. I feel like, though, granite, though, even with our granite, we've got some etching issues, within the granite that's coming. It's like basically the rock itself, the material in the rock is coming out through.
The polish and seal is kind of breaking down. Right. But that's, I think, probably because of what we've cleaned it with.
Right. Now, again, that's all. It goes back to what you've put on it and placed on it and things like that. Unfortunately, let me just say this as a disclaimer. If you, and a lot of people, I would recommend doing this, but the really strong toilet bowl cleaner, like a Lysol bleach, high, commercial type cleaner. I don't know. We get it at Sam's, but that's our toilet bowl cleaner that we use. And somebody set a bottle of it down on my laundry countertop, and it made a mark, y'all, because it literally ate through that granite. So just be careful. What
you use and what you let it come in contact with.
Exactly.
Granite, right?
And especially cleaning products, y'all. You think, I'm using... I'm not a real big fan of vinegar. I don't use vinegar. I don't use vinegar on my quartz or marble, or granite, regardless, because I know that I just don't. I'm not a big fan of it. I'm a big fan of Dawn dish soap, but if you do have quartz or granite, just be careful on about what you're putting on it, because granite is porous underneath,
right.
And it is sealed, but over time that seal
can break down. You got to pay attention.
Yeah.
Next one.
Formica. Formica. This is what everybody is familiar with. We grew up with Formica.
Laminate. Formica is a name brand. Laminate countertops is what we're talking about. Yeah.
So if you're a kid of the 80s, a lot of homes had that butcher block type patterning on it. And Formica, help me out here. So Formica is like a press board type material wood, and on the top of it, it's got like a plastic.
Just a laminate countertop.
Yeah, laminate countertop.
Piece of vinyl or whatever.
It comes in different, overlays on the bottom, and it comes with a backsplash, just like your Formica, just like your quartz. But a lot of the times, that's the standard when you're ordering Formica laminate. You want to get a backsplash in that, and then the bottom wraps around under the wood cabinets.
Well, sometimes it does. Some of those edges don't, and we always recommend. First of all, Formica is the most affordable.
Right. And there is absolutely nothing wrong with Formica. There's a type of Formica that we use, we have used in our flip houses even. But there's a Formica that we use in our rent houses that, because quartz or granite, you're not going to get that money back over time. But Formica and all that, it does hold up.
It holds up great. And the thing about it is,
wet, really, in certain places.
For the price that you're going to spend on granite or quartz, you could probably put in 10 sets of Formica countertops. Literally, we just made our deposit back there, and I would be willing to bet that you could put 10 sets of Formica countertops in for what we paid for that. So if you got
10
them in
whole
there,
house sets.
10 times you can replace your countertops.
But let's talk about Formica, though. And you see this even today, even if you go into an older home that was built in the 60s or 70s or 80s, you will still see Formica. If it's not been touched and it's the original, you'll still see that Formica in the kitchen. But in the bathroom, not so much, because, Formica, like I said, it is that press wood underneath. And so if you do get it wet, it swells.
Yeah.
And it tends to tear up, and, the sides come off.
And that's where that edge profile has changed over the years with Formica.
Right.
Now they make it where it wraps all the way around and underneath if you choose that, right? It's a little more expensive. A few dollars or something, but we always recommend get it to wrap underneath, because that's where your moisture gets in.
But if you don't want to spend a lot of money and you want that clean, upgraded look, what is that brand? What is that color that we like to use? They call it Oreo. I don't know.
Oro Romano.
Oro Romano. Yeah, and it mimics.
And then there's white ice marble too that we've used.
Yeah,
which is pretty.
But that Oreo Romano.
Yeah, Oro. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Lowe's carried it.
Yeah,
this is why
but
we
it mimics white ice granite, and so it is really pretty. And then the marble what was it again that we white marble?
White ice marble, I think. I don't know.
But now you can get into spending more money than you
And
really
the thing is,
bargained
you can
to.
spend all you want to on
Yes.
Formica, and you can wind up making it look just like stone.
Yep.
You know, they make it.
But some of those, like, you know, depending on the edge that you chose, and,
if you want
there's
texture.
yeah, there's different textures and all that. So that's out there too. If you're wanting to for rent houses and things like that, in a house that, you know, you don't want to spend more. You don't want to spend too much money on. You just got to look at what are you remodeling. You know, are you going to get this money back in the long run?
Right.
And you know, and Formica, like we've had we've even redone homes with Formica, and it looks really good.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm a fan of it, especially if you're thinking like, I don't know if I'm gonna like this or not. Psh, okay, well, you know, throw the money at it, and if you don't like it or if you tear it up or whatever, you can change it.
You can
change
change
it 6 or 7 times
Yeah.
before you can
And
granite.
there have been
if you
so
get granite
many.
or quartz in your house and you hate it, tough break, kid.
Yep, that's true.
A-
You're
Unless
stuck
you want to
with it.
spend $5,000, tough break.
Right,
But for $500-$600, you can use it for a year or two and then be like, we're changing it.
right.
You know.
And there have been so many. They have come up with so many different color options, and like you said, it matches the quartz and granite now for the Formica. That like you can't. Some of those you can't really tell.
Oh yeah.
You know, especially if you get that edging just right. If the edging does round up and you can't feel that bottom, sometimes I can't tell. So,
Yeah.
anyways, moving on. Concrete.
Let's do these last two together, because
Okay.
I don't have much experience. We don't have much experience with either one of these, concrete or wood, right? I've got some friends that have done both. All I really know about it is if you mess it up, it's a huge disaster with concrete. Like if you don't mix that, if you don't get that mix right when you're doing that, or if you don't form it right, or you don't knock all the bubbles out of
But
it.
now, concrete. When I think about concrete, I think about Big Bad Breakfast, and the Strickland Hotel, and all those places.
And see, and I don't. I think about people DIYing it. So
Oh, see-
if you do it right, yes, it's great.
yes,
right?
those
Or hire a
places.
professional.
Yes, those now. Exactly what he said. Those particular places, Strickland Hotel, just to name a few, and I'm sure. I mean, everybody has some. You know, you've all ate at Big Bad Breakfast and seen those bathroom vanities in concrete, and that's what we're talking about. That is done well. Now the water over time has, you know, done some discoloration in that concrete, but it's like anything else. Like you've got to protect it and
Maintain
seal
it.
it and maintain it. But it is a cheaper option for you. And they actually did like the whole sink and everything is like a concrete pour.
Uh-huh.
And they hired the right people, and it looks good. But like if you're doing it and you're DIYing it, I'm not saying don't do it, but you may want to consult a professional on that, because we've seen some
Yeah, and I would think if you're doing
bad.
that in a house too, you
just
know,
really pictures. I don't know of anybody personally, but yeah, I've seen it.
I'm
bad
sure
in
there's a lot of
pictures.
prep work involved, a lot of like
Right.
taping and masking off cabinetry and all that. There's just a lot to it, and I have never done it, and I don't know. I don't think I ever will, to be honest with you.
Right.
Wood, we've used wood a lot of times on like places that are lower traffic. You know, we use it on like built-ins. We'll have a wood countertop rather than a granite, because it's just cheaper and you can match the stain to whatever stain you have in the house. For kitchen countertops, I know some people that I know that have put wood countertops,
Well, now
butcher block,
that's different. Butcher block and a wood for a built-in.
but they're both tops.
They're both wood tops.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wood, you know, with anything else wood, you just really have to make sure that it's stained and sealed properly before, you know, you use it. Now, I'm not a fan. I see it a lot in laundry rooms, and it does save you money. You know, if you're building a house and you get to the end of it and you're trying to choose a countertop, a lot of people do use wood because it's cheaper, but we're just too hard in our laundry room to
Yeah, I
use
mean,
wood.
you have to maintain it just like anything else. You have
Right.
to just go back and touch the stain up or whatever if it gets scratched.
Right.
I mean, that's part
But
of
now
it.
we do have a wood top in a couple of different places are built in, and then we've got a wood mud bench
When you remember the last house we built, we put a wood top in the laundry room.
in the laundry
Yeah,
room. Yes,
on the cabinetry there. So I mean,
that's an option though.
my thing. Here's my
and it looks. I mean, it looks decent too.
my cons. I think, or what I think about, like when I think about wood countertops for the kitchen. Man, you really got to stay on top of keeping that sealed. If you're talking about prepping food on there.
Well, now I've got some friends, and they've got their island is granite, and their back of the kitchen is granite. Then they've got a little coffee bar that's got a wood top on it. So,
But I'm thinking about prepping meats or whatever
yes.
on there. You
Now,
gotta,
to me, butcher block is kind of, you're going to spend a lot more money, butcher block, actual wood, in that. Yeah, I'm weird about that. Like, because it does hold bacteria. And,
right. So you got to keep that.
You got to keep it sealed.
Whatever they do with that sealer.
But it is absolutely beautiful, though. Like, people that, we've got some friends that have that butcher block look in part of their kitchen, and it is beautiful. And they take very good care of it. You can't even really tell that they've, I think about a wood surface and it's all nicked up because my kids go in there.
Yeah, because we're roughhousers.
We are rough.
Yeah.
But yeah, these people, they have it and they've really maintained it. So, but those are your top 5. There are others out there. Now we didn't talk about marble and tile, travertine.
These are the 5 most common.
Yeah, the 5 most common. So you've got granite, quartz, formica, concrete, and wood countertops. And you just have to really make your selection based on, where your price range is. And you don't want to go too low on, it just really depends on what you're doing it for,
Right.
So
help us out. Comment down below. Which of the 5 do you have, or do you have something different? Do you have granite, quartz, formica, concrete, or wood? And then, do you wish you had one of the other ones, or you love it? Just let us know.
And if we can help you and to answer any of your questions, or we've got a couple of granite people that we like to use, and we can put you in contact with them. And like he was saying, if you have one, you want to go to another, if we can answer any of your questions, we'll be glad to do that.
Yeah, drop it down below. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and we thank you so much for watching this week's show. See you later.
Thanks for listening to the House Guy and Home Girl podcast, your #1 source for all things home. Be sure to subscribe to the podcast and check out our YouTube page for video content from the show.